All of them have 1 MB of L2 cache, 1.375 MB of shared L3 cache and support for AVX 512 vector instructions. That provides an extra boost to both performance and throughput for intense computing tasks. Because Xeon W is based on Skylake architecture, processor accelerated H.265 encoding and decoding are limited to 8-bit, not 10-bit. Like on the Kaby Lake-based standard iMacs. Because iMac Pro has such a resource advantage, though, Apple can still deliver software-based HEVC 10-bit much faster than the standard iMac can through hardware. The new version of Final Cut Pro X that launched alongside iMac Pro, for example, now handles 360 video and up to 8K frames, and a lot of it in real time. Same with the Logic Pro X update and its ability to handle far more tracks with far more demanding effects, including alchemy, and play it all back in real time. In my time with the new iMac Pro, I came to appreciate just exactly what all the developers and pros told me when I first spoke with them about it late last year. It's all about the real time. Even on the 8-core version, the sheer power of iMac Pro let their apps and their customers work in real time in a way that simply wasn't possible on any previous hardware. Sure, it cut down wait times for intensive tasks like compiling and rendering, but it also removed wait times so completely on so many tasks that it allowed for an all-new, all-interactive experience. On multicam edits with several compound clips, I twice, for a brief period of time, managed to push the iMac Pro to the point where Final Cut Pro X begged me to turn the angle view off so it could keep the frame rate up. I turned off optimized media rendering to save on that 1 terabyte of solid-state space. And only for a few minutes. Other than that, it handled all the 4K video I could throw at it as fast as I could throw it. To the extent that I didn't realize how real-time it felt until I went back to editing on my MacBook Pro and suddenly felt as though I was moving through toffee. Compared to the iMac Pro, that's the kind of instant velocitization, the speed that resets what you consider to be speed, that I look for in an upgrade. iMac Pro graphics. iMac Pro uses the new AMD Radeon Pro Vega chipsets at the upper end. They provide up to 64 compute units. With the iMac Pro as a graphics powerhouse, I continually marveled at how crisp and clean everything was rendered with no apparent overhead or impact on performance. I'm used to choosing between performance or detail when visualizing complex 3D datasets, and the iMac Pro gives both. Even when just working in Xcode or a terminal window, the clarity and brightness of the screen made it really easy on the eyes. 4096 stream processors. Those stream processors can deliver up to 11 teraflops of single precision, FP32, or 22 teraflops at half precision, FP16. All of that with high bandwidth memory, HBM2, that sports a 2048-bit wide bus and delivers 400 megabytes per second of bandwidth. So much Numbers. You can go with either the Radeon Pro Vega 56 with 8 GB of on-package HBM2 or ratchet that up to a Radeon Pro Vega 64 with 16 GB of HBM2. They're not cards, they're soldered inside the iMac Pro, and the iMac Pro is sealed. That means two things. You don't get the option for NVIDIA and CUDA, and you can't swap out the card for a newer, more advanced one next year, or any year after that. Apple and NVIDIA seem to be at loggerheads over who gets to own our graphics destiny, with neither willing to cede control to the other. So, AMD. The more specific knock against Vega Pro is that it's more of a jack of all trades card and not something that's optimized for hardcore gaming, for example. Yet, talking with developers like those who work on Cinema 4D, it became clear that a combination of Metal 2 and AMD produced results better than they'd seen with similar or even better graphics hardware on other platforms. I think that can be attributed to how much Apple gets out of the way and opens up access to as much compute power as possible, something that's enabled by the company's tight integration of hardware and software, and relationship with AMD. As of Maco's High Sierra, Apple has also provided beta support for external GPU IGPU. There's no word yet on how many you can hang off an iMac Pro, but I got to see 2 IGPU running today, and, from what the developers were saying, they'd managed more in their own testing once IGPU comes out of beta. Concern over future internal vendors and upgrades could well become a thing of the past. Fingers crossed. I've had a chance to see and try out several VR apps on iMac Pro, using the HTC Vive headset and controls, and they all work tremendously well. I've used the Vive previously on PCs, and while it remains to be seen how many and how well the game situation matures, everything from design applications like Gravity Sketch to 360 video editing in Final Cut Pro, to fully immersive creative environments like Electronaut, all ran terrifically well. Because of both the Xeon W and the Radeon Pro, neither CPU nor GPU proved to be a constraint, and the developers managed to deliver seamless VR experiences right out of the gate. It was also whisper quiet. I don't recall hearing the fans spin up even once, even under heavy load. Maybe they're just quiet enough that my conversations with Apple and developers we recreating an airport with a hard-to-render curvy roof, a car park with recognizable vehicles and passengers. You want to be able to see what the building will look like in the rain, sunshine or snow. I've seen Twinmotion in action, and on the iMac Pro it can create remarkable-looking buildings and astonishingly detailed surroundings in nothing flat enough to mask them, and maybe I'd hear them in dead silence if I pushed hard enough. But there's really no way to overstate how much power Apple had packed into iMac Pro while preventing the traditional fan noise that goes with it. Now if only Apple would make its own, similarly whisper quiet, IGPU enclosures. iMac Pro T2. MacBook Pro had a custom T1 chipset that handled Touch ID, Apple Pay, and offered a secure enclave to lock down not only those two features but things like FaceTime camera access and indicators. But, where T1 felt like an Apple Watch style system in package, SIP, T2 feels more like an iPhone style system on a chip, SoC.
Follow us. Google search. www.googlesearch.co.in. Facebook/blogtube page/ www.facebook.com web link. Twitter.com/blogtubebt. Twitter.com web link. If you like this video, click like icon and share your friends.
If you want more best videos, please subscribe and click bell icon.